Just want to hop on here real quick. Make sure we're pretty much ready to go here. All right, we're syncing up. All right. We're going to start in about 60 seconds, y'all. We're going to start in about 60 seconds. Just want to make sure we're synced up to all our platforms tonight. Ooh. Sleep is the enemy tonight. I'm telling you guys that right now, man. All right, let's see here. All right, that looks good. All that looks good. All right, y'all, we got us a show. Let's do it.
Warning, the RCWR show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Checking out an all-new The RCWR show for Monday night of February 22nd, 2021. Covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. The RCWR show. What's going on, kind people? Sleep is the enemy tonight. I gotta tell you, that last hour of Raw, I don't know how it was for you guys, but that last hour of Raw for me, gotta tell you, man, I was fighting sleep like I don't know what. I actually dozed off during the 10 o'clock hour. And you know something's up when your girl comes in and goes, honey, because she knows I'm normally doing a show Monday night. She's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, why? She's like, you're supposed to do a show. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got an alarm set. I did not care what was on during that final hour. But what kind of got me back into it was hearing the backstage chatter between Charlotte Flair and Ric Flair. That kind of got me out of that funk that I was in. But God, I definitely want me some sleep tonight. And I'm going to get my sleep tonight, goddammit. So we're going to do our best to have this show be as short as possible. And, you know, normally I say that we have ourselves a good time, but I got to turn right back around early in the morning for one of my classes. And I'm telling you, that transition to go late Monday night into early Tuesday morning, it's definitely been kicking my ass the past couple of weeks. Not complaining, but I'm just stating the fact. It's been kicking my ass the past couple of weeks. So to ensure we got ourselves a nice short show, not only is sleep my enemy, but I actually took some melatonin, and that always does the trick for me. So, yeah, last thing I want to do is be on the air and you guys are experiencing, what is it? Zombie Lee, basically, that's the last thing I want you guys to experience tonight. So hopefully we can be in and out in about under an hour, hour max, but we'll see what happens. Look, let me know what you guys had thought about Raw tonight. You can definitely sound off, post your comments. We're streaming live, multiple platforms. Once again, shout out to our audiences, man. Shout out to where we at? Where are we streaming tonight? We're streaming on multiple platforms. We're streaming on the Periscope, the Twitter. We're streaming on the Facebook. We're streaming on the YouTube. We're streaming on the Twitch. So however you're watching tonight live, appreciate you guys that's going out of your way to check it out and everything. Look, we don't need to do a long drawn out review of Raw. We at this point only need to talk about the key points. So following up on what we talked about at the Elimination Chamber post show less than 24 hours ago, I can't remember the name. So that person out there, you know exactly who I'm talking to. You know who you are out there. You asked the question, I think it might have been RJ. I don't know why, but I'm thinking RJ. But somebody in the chat from our post show last night asked the question, why? Why did Lashley do what he did there to Drew McIntyre That fan was trying to make sense out of what had happened. And I had laid out what probably the arrangements were. And man, did I call it or did I call it? For those of you that were with me less than 24 hours ago, I pretty much called it. I gave you one of two scenarios, but I was leaning more towards the first scenario that I gave you, which is pretty much exactly how it played out tonight. Now, you got to give mad props. I don't know how many of you guys are active like that with your social media, but yeah, I got to give mad props to WWE. What's that Twitter handle? BT Sports? Because you know WWE, they partnered up with BT Sports now basically. And if you're not following the BT Sports on Twitter, you're missing out, because whoever handles that and whoever handles the stuff for Fox when they're promoting SmackDown and all that, those social media managers for those particular two accounts, they do a phenomenal job. I'm telling you, there's your traditional, you've seen how it is with some wrestling promotions or social media accounts, and they happen to be promoting a wrestling promotion, and they usually go in with the whole generic stuff or whatever. But I'm telling you, those particular accounts, they really do their best to not only interact with their fan base, but they're very witty and they're very creative. And I totally forgot until I had saw it on the BT Sports Twitter page. I think it was late this morning. So like hours after I was done with the post show. And they pulled up an episode of Monday Night Raw from, I believe, May of 2020. And it had a segment with MVP talking with Drew McIntyre. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he pretty much told Drew McIntyre to mark his words that if Drew were to ever get screwed out of that WWE championship, he is going to personally have a hand in Drew McIntyre's demise as the WWE champion. And so now you fast forward and you just go, whoa, wow, it really did kind of come back full circle there, didn't it? I don't know what it was about the third hour. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but it just seemed that the curiosity. All right, here we are. We're fresh off of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. We've got a new WWE champion. There's a whole lot of curiosity in the air to see how things are going to be playing out now that Drew is no longer the champion. And I gotta tell you, the first hour and a half, I definitely was tuned in. That first hour and a half. Probably the biggest takeaway I have for this entire episode of Monday Night Raw is the fact that there was no appearance of Drew McIntyre whatsoever. No post-interview. No, Drew's going to be back next week, folks, to give his thoughts on losing the WWE Championship. Make sure you watch Raw next week. It's going to be Drew McIntyre's first time giving a candid interview, his first time talking since losing the title. Tune in next week. Nothing. There was nothing. And you're going, And before everybody starts going, Bobby Lashley, I know some of you guys are doing it right now. Bobby Lashley, oh my God, look. Your man over here definitely a big Bobby Lashley fan. I was a fan of Bobby Lashley way before he even came back to WWE this girl. I was a fan of Bobby Lashley's his first rodeo in the WWE. And I was happy to see him continue on with his wrestling career. He thought for nothing. He had some good moments there in Impact Wrestling, as far as I was concerned. Had some decent, memorable feuds and everything, but it was a nice run. It was a nice run. So for me, he was never out of the spotlight and everything. But I tell you what, that eye of the tiger, that tenacity, that hunger for wanting more from a wrestling professional career standpoint, I love what I'm seeing with this Lashley that's going on. And I know some of you guys right now, you're going, Lashley, Bobby Lashley. Hey, I'm with you. I'm not knocking y'all. I'm not making fun of y'all. But remember what I just said. There was no Drew McIntyre at all tonight Just remember that, because what you all think is going to happen next week with your boy Lashley ain't going to be happening at all, because you know there's a receipt that needs to be cashed. Just giving you guys the heads up right now, because I know a lot of you guys, you're going to be screaming at the TV. Y'all going to be pissed off and all that shit. Just remember, I tried to prepare you all. So, for those of you that didn't watch Raw tonight, you're probably going, Lee, what exactly do you mean? You're kind of confusing me a little bit. Well, it's quite simple. It's quite simple. So, tonight, we get Lashley with Miz. Lashley, Miz, MVP. Basically, that was the whole shebang that opened up tonight's WWE Raw. And it literally followed up on the idea I put out there less than 24 hours ago on the Chamber post show, which was MVP Lashley essentially made an arrangement with The Miz. And basically it was, hey, as a result of what happened with Lashley losing that United States Championship to Riddle, you know, your boy Jomo, he essentially came up short in helping Lashley retain there. You know, I figure what better way to kind of make up and all that than giving Lashley an opportunity to fight for that WWE Championship. So essentially, again, what I said last night, that's exactly how it played out in the opener. So you got your answers right there as far as why did this union, how did this union come about, okay? So now Miz is in this unique position where, okay, MVP Lashley, they delivered their end of the bargain. Now it's time for The Miz to come up with his end. Miz, as a good chicken shit champion should operate, I can't do it tonight. Oh, you know, I've got these obligations and I've got these commitments outside of WWE, these media obligations. I've got this going on. I've got this. I've got that. I can't. And basically, an ultimatum was given to Miz by Lashley. You got an hour. Give me your answer. See you in an hour. So you fast forward to that hour, Lashley is in his ring gear. He is ready to go. Miz comes out. Adam Pearce is there. He's pretty much ready to make the match official. You know, essentially, he's there to hear Miz's decision. But Lashley is out there dressed, ready to go. He's thinking this match is going to go down tonight. Miz wants even more time to decide. All right, okay. All right, so what I like off the break is the fact that the tone has been set for what type of a champion Miz is going to be for the duration that he is the champion. Now, I am totally okay with that. Totally okay with that. We see how Roman Reigns has been handling things from a delusional, you just don't know who you're messing with, but you're going to learn real quick because I'm going to humble the shit out of you. You know, we've got this whole delusional, unhinged Roman Reigns that's running around. And we've got the Miz using psychological warfare. He's doing the mind games, and he's basically playing cry wolf. But he is a wolf in sheep clothing. He's deadly. When you're not paying attention and you doubt him, that's when he's essentially going to strike, right? Okay, so love the fact that the tone is being set for what kind of champion he's going to be this go round. You know, nothing really changed when you stop and think about it, because he's pretty much doing the same thing that he was doing the first go round when he was the WWE champion. So I like how they set the tone, they being WWE. I like how they're setting the tone here for this. So that's good. Now, again, Miz still not, he doesn't want to do this match. All of a sudden we get Braun Strowman out there. Remember, Braun Strowman was pretty fueled up, pretty pissed off that he wasn't put in that champions match at Elimination Chamber. And it was explained to him, no, this is for WWE champions, you're a Universal Champion. And of course, that was reiterated again to Braun tonight, at which he says, well, I just think that's stupid. Okay, well, hey, it is what it is. Rules are the rules. But once again, out of nowhere, left field, we get another cameo by Shanel Mack. Shanel Mack essentially coming as somewhat of a peacemaker to Braun, even though officially he did not go on record and be a peacemaker. But we kind of saw Shane O'Mac give Braun a little bit of an olive branch here, where basically, all right, Braun wants a shot at the championship. He wants an opportunity to perhaps become a world champion. All right, Lashley wants a piece of Miz. Okay, how do you rectify that? Okay, so later on in the night, match was set. Strowman taking on Lashley. Now, Strowman wins. He gets his hands on the Miz for that championship. It becomes a triple threat match, right? Miz defends against Braun Strowman, Lashley. However, Lashley defeats Strowman. Then sadly, well, Braun Strowman, sorry about your damn luck. Better luck next time. I wish that match would have been a little bit longer, because that match had closed out tonight's Raw. And I knew something was up as far as the length of the time, because by about the 40-minute mark during the final hour, we're checking out AJ Styles taking on Ricochet, which, by the way, I got to say, that was actually a pretty damn good match. I did enjoy that match. It was just way too short. I wish that these guys would have been out there at the 10:20 mark and, okay, let them go, because those two guys can go. They can go. So what we got tonight between Ricochet and AJ Styles, I mean, you talk about damn cock tease. It's just, that's how I felt. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it was a tease, because it's like, oh, Ricochet. Okay, I'm down with that. Nice little spot there by Omnis at the end there. AJ Styles picking up the dub, but nice little spot there by Omnis. Oh, Omaz, I apologize, Omaz. Or the real name, I like to call him Hummus. If you checked out last night's show, you'll know what that's all about. But coming in there and pretty much just picking up Ricochet by the neck with his two big behemoth-looking hands and just pretty much slamming him down. That was a great visual. Just a great visual. It's like you're on top of this tree, basically, this massive tree. And you essentially, I don't know, you're fainting or you have fatigue or whatever, and you just fall from that tree, and it's like, oh, that's a long way going down, buddy. Visually, that was just, I loved it. I loved it. My only little critique of Omaz, sometimes he has that menacing looking face down, menacing, very intimidating. Dude, I'm telling you, if I'm going down the alley, that's the dude I don't want to be seeing across the way. I'm going to just turn right back around and go the other way. He's got that look down. But there are times, and tonight is one of those. Don't believe me, and you still got the show on your DVR, or you ain't watch it yet, or now that I put this out there, just start peeping it out from here on out. But he comes out there at some points, and tonight was one of those things where he looks like he is smiling. And it's, okay, so are you doing this on purpose, or do you mean to be menacing? And you can tell when you're looking at his face, he's trying to go for that menacing, that intimidating monster kind of look. It's almost, sadly, those that's going to hear the audio version of this, they can't see my face. And I can't stress it enough. I love seeing the download and the plays weekly for the show, but I can't stress it enough. The biggest fun is checking me out live, because you get to see my facial expressions and you get to interact with everybody else that's checking out the show live. But for those of you that's watching the web stream, tonight, it's like you got Omaz. He does this thing to Ricochet, and he just has this look on his face like, it's like, okay, is that supposed to be intimidating? Is that supposed to be menacing? Am I supposed to fear that? Because you look like you're getting ready to bust out a laugh or something. What's going on there? It almost kind of reminded me of, what was that skit that Jimmy Fallon used to do with the Tonight Show band from time to time, and his number one goal was to somehow make one of the guys in the Roots bust up laughing. He would usually make the bald head guy laugh. He would do like all these fucking close-ups and all that, and he'd be mean mugging like a motherfucker, but like Jimmy would eventually get him, and he would you just see his face just start to tremor, especially around his mouth area. He just starts breaking into a smile. He's looking menacing, and you're like, man, that wasn't funny. And he just starts busting up laughing. I mean, that was almost kind of the thing that was going on with Omos there. So I don't know what his intent was tonight, but it's just something that I've been noticing off and on for the past several weeks there. It might not be anything. Maybe that's just the way he, hey, and it's all good if that's just how he's doing it. But yeah, but that was a good visual. Him choke slamming the hell out of Ricochet pretty much from the skies above. I love that spot. Nice little spot right there. But yeah, you're looking at that match. It came on at the 40-minute mark. And by the time Ricochet and AJ were done, that match was about, I want to say, 45-minute mark. So those guys essentially went about 5, maybe 6 minutes max. Then you pretty much went to your commercial break, and it was time for that main event match between Lashley and Braun Strowman. Lashley decisively picking up the dub there from Strowman. And I'm curious what the dynamic is going to be there for Braun Strowman going forward. You feel where I'm coming from? Because, picking up this defeat, you're just following the storyline here. You've already got this Braun Strowman. Remember one of the last times we saw Braun Strowman, he pretty much got himself in storyline a one-way ticket to be suspended indefinitely. And obviously with this Braun Strowman that we've seen this go round, not much has really changed. So I can't help but wonder in storyline, okay, you got cleanly whooped by Lashley there as Lashley advanced. For Strowman's storyline, okay, where does he go from here? Does Strowman continue to try to assert himself, which I think in story, yes, he will. I believe he will continue to try to assert himself in that championship title picture, and Pierce is going to continue to give him tough love, but I can see Strowman continuing to be using his strength and his size and all that to try to intimidate Adam Pearce. I just kind of feel as though the way things might potentially be going right now, I kind of feel as though eventually Strowman is going to get physical with Pearce for the simple fact he's not getting his way. The Strowman that we are seeing right now is essentially a baby tantrum Strowman. That's pretty much what we've got on our hands right now. This is somebody, give me now. He's almost coming off like some, not all millennials, but because I've actually interacted, befriended some really cool millennials, and it's amazing because some of my best conversations these days actually happen with millennials at my job. And it's great back and forth. They learn from me, but I learn so much from them that I never even considered. I remember there was one conversation that I had with one of my coworkers, Amir. And shout out to Amir. I had a great conversation with him, and we were talking about how the whole pandemic and the lockdown, how it's unfortunate and everything, but from an educational standpoint, man, doing these remote classes, it's a fucking breeze because you're essentially learning on your time in your comfort zone. You don't have to worry about, I'm gonna miss this bus, or I gotta go get in the car and I gotta go drive here, or I got to make sure I get these bus train transfers to get to school. And, you just pretty much roll out to bed, wash up, have some breakfast, put on some clothes if you want. You really do need to at least put on a top, okay? And then you just get in front of the computer. You take your classes, bada bing, bada boom. And me and him were pretty much comparing notes because I was telling him, I said, this is my first time, back in college in like 20 years. And I'm telling him how, hey, it sucks what we got going on right now with the pandemic, but there's one cool thing about what's going on right now is the fact that if you want to continue your education, this is the best time to do it right now because you're literally able to do it on your terms when you want. And he's much younger. I think he's getting ready to go into his he just wrapped up his junior year in high school and he's getting ready to go into his senior year in high school. And he told me, he said, that's true, but I don't like what's going on with the pandemic and from an educational standpoint, it sucks. And he explained to me why it sucks from his perspective. And then never dawned on me that no, they're probably taking it much harder than old. I hate to call myself an old fart, but I am kind of getting up there. Pretty soon I'm gonna be like Black Lightning age. There's a couple more years there, but it's like again, I learn from them, and they learn from me. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Really opening my eyes there. I gotta say, but. Yeah, I don't know. Getting back to Raw there. How did we get on that topic? There was a connection there. There's a connection there. So maybe somebody can remind me there. Sometimes that happens. That's how we do it on this show, guys. It's like I get on one topic and there's always a connection, but yeah, I know we talked about the whole Lashley, the whole millennial, the entitlement and all that. My whole point was, in the past, I used to feel that millennials were just, but no, my opinion has changed on that drastically over the years, big time where I'm working at now because I interact with so many millennials and everything, and there's some really good cats that's out there doing it right. But this incarnation of Braun Strowman that I'm seeing right now reminds me so much of one of those entitled millennials. Give me what I want. Fuck earning it. I'm not trying to hear that shit. I want it here and I want it now. I'm not trying to hear all that. Go earn it. Go work for that living. The hell with that. Gimme. Okay, yeah, something went wrong and I know I'm at fault. Well, I'm not going to take self-accountability. That's a main theme that I constantly bring up on this show all the time. A lot of times over the years, the whole self-accountability. No. Self-accountability out the window. It's everybody's fault except for mine. I kind of get the vibe that's what's going on here. Possibly with Braun Strowman. We'll wait and see. I'm still trying to factor in the Shanel Mack because this is now with heaviness to it. This is now the second time we've heard Braun Strowman take verbal shots at Shanel Mack. So you can't help but go, okay, where are we going here? With WrestleMania around the corner. It kind of feels like, okay, is it possible we're going to be doing something with Strowman and Shanel Mack? Is that where we going? How, bridge that a little bit, but that's the vibe that I'm kind of getting right now. That's the vibe that I'm kind of getting right now. Let's look at some of the other action that we had here tonight. Again, I'm not doing a full-blown Raw review. I just want to talk about some key points for some of the action that we got here. Matt Riddle taking on John Morrison. I gotta tell you, that was actually a really entertaining matchup. With the exception of the main event match for just a curiosity standpoint, AJ taking on Ricochet, which really, I could watch those guys all day, honestly. This would be the other match that I would say for the whole 3 hours. You know what? This actually was pretty entertaining. They've got good chemistry together. Morrison and Riddle. For those of you that watch Raw tonight, I don't know if you would agree with me, but they definitely clicked. They clicked well tonight, to the point I actually would not mind. Take a swig real quick. I actually wouldn't mind seeing these two guys involved in a longer feud, perhaps, for this United States title. I actually would not mind that. I know a lot of people were kind of hoping that Miz is going to betray Morrison, Well, based on what we saw tonight, it doesn't seem like we're gonna be going down that path anytime soon. At least not in the immediate future. Maybe after Miz loses the WWE Championship. Something to kind of think about right there. Also, another interesting development from Raw tonight. We just may be at the finish line with this whole Retribution stable. I mean, many of us fans have been very vocal about it on social media. We don't care for it. We don't particularly like it. We wish it would just go away. Shout out to loyal supporter and listener Cheryl Best. Cheryl was saying, honestly, I wish we could just get to a point where, and I'm paraphrasing her, but she pretty much said, I wish we can just get to a point where these Retribution members, they just take their mask off. All right, we always knew who they were, but now officially in storyline, we're acknowledging who they are. They pretty much relinquished their mask. They pretty much abandoned this Retribution stable. And that's pretty much it. That's the last that we see of Retribution. A lot of us actually would not mind that. But this keeps getting dragged out, and dragged out over and over again each week. But it kind of seems as though the screws have been tightened just a little bit more. And for those of you that are tired of the Retribution angle, keep hope alive. I've been saying that the past couple of weeks, but no, seriously, keep hope alive. We're getting there. We're almost there. Tonight, New Day taking on Retribution's Mason T-Bar. I can't even rate that match because it was barely 3 minutes long. New Day picking up the dub. Mustafa Ali pissed off yet again. You know, the thing that I don't understand, what is having guys like Mason T-Bar keep such restraint and verbally being abused, if you will, by Mustafa Ali, you know, week in and week out? It's like, you know, you guys have free mind and will of your own. Why are you continuing to, you know, how are you really benefiting from this? What is keeping you aligned to Ali at this point? That's been my whole thing, because gone now is the whole, oh, well, I reached out to them. Yeah, just as I went through the same trials and tribulations, the frustration with creative, being given all these promises, yada, 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 yada. So too were these, okay, so like, y'all got your contract, you got your money, even though on social media they tried to spin it another way. Okay, whatever. But still, you got your money and storyline. All right, so at this point, why? Why continue to be aligned with, and you just kind of feel as though they're trying to milk this, and you know what? If it's making them a couple of $100 here and there, go for it. But it just feels as though they're milking this for all it's worth, and they're gonna ride this son of a bitch until the wheels fall off and that motherfucker is set on fire, and is like, no, keep milking it. We can squeeze out a couple more dollars out of that. If you ask me what's my biggest takeaway, as far as, you know, if you were to ask me straight up, predict when you think Retribution will be no more, it kind of feels like maybe things would wrap up by WrestleMania. I would be shocked if night after WrestleMania, Retribution was still together. That's just me. That's just me personally. Let's see. That was another match that was kind of, and I actually fell asleep on that one. So I actually would have to rely on you guys if that was a good tag match or not. Let your thoughts be known if you did watch this next matchup. But there was a match between Charlotte Flair and Asuka taking on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I know the team of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, I know they had picked up the dub. I guess a two-part question for you guys that saw this match. How was the match? Did you enjoy it? And then number two, your estimate, how long did that match last? So let your voices be heard on that. Again, if you had saw that matchup, that way other people that'll check this out on demand, they'll be able to see your comments and get an idea of what's going on there. Probably the biggest thing. Now, I actually was having my old man nap around this time. No bullshit, because I pretty much made it to, just going back in this, I made it to where I started to fall asleep was pretty much around the Bad Bunny spot with Damian Priest. That's pretty much where my interest just started to, and yes, folks, yes, it's looking as though Bad Bunny, WrestleMania 24, yeah, that's exactly how it's looking right now. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. We got to deal with it. You make your rounds on social media, and there are a decent amount of people. It's interesting because it's literally split in half when you really stop and think about it. Because you've got the Bad Bunny fans that are fans of the artist. They love his music, anything that he does. They're pretty much latched on to this guy. And then you've got your wrestling fans that go, okay, well, you know what? And see, with the wrestling fans is interesting because there's two layers to that. I don't know if you guys are really aware of that, but there's two layers for the wrestling fans and their perspective on Bad Bunny. So you could almost say there's three perspectives when it comes to Bad Bunny in the WWE right now. So we just told you one perspective. You've got the one angle where you've got wrestling fans that go, okay, Bad Bunny, I don't know who this guy is. I don't really give a shit. Can he wrestle? Can he entertain me? That's all I really give a damn about. What the hell? And then you've got the wrestling fans that will say, Bad Bunny, okay, here we go once again with another fucking celebrity that wants to be a fucking wrestler. What the fuck? Is this really necessary? I bet you never really thought about that before, but that's literally when you just unpeel those layers like a Grand's flaky biscuit. I gotta get in a food analogy somehow. There you go. When you unpeel it like that, those are the dynamics that you're dealing with. So anytime you're dealing with a Bad Bunny segment on WWE programming these days, you're seeing exactly that on social media. So it's mixed, is my point. But the majority is of the Bad Bunny fans through and through, follow him wherever he goes. That's the majority that's winning right now. And as I always tell you guys, I know you don't like hearing it, but if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I'm talking about that common sense. All right. So they're striking while it's hot. They're getting it and everything. More power to WWE. Good business for everybody. Bad Bunny's able to essentially fulfill a little bit of a lifelong a dream of his, so to speak. Good for him. When it comes to WrestleMania, I mean, if you were to just right now, least favorite WrestleMania moment, even though I haven't even seen it happen yet, what's going to be going down with Bad Bunny at WrestleMania? That's going to be my least favorite WrestleMania moment. Tell you that right now. Look, hey, they got plenty of time. Maybe my mind will be changed. And if my mind is changed by WrestleMania, I'll gladly come right here on the post show. I'll be honest with you guys. But remember this, timestamp this, February 22nd of 2021. I've gone on record, even though we're like essentially 2 months away from WrestleMania, I've pretty much said, yeah, the Bad Bunny WrestleMania match, least favorite WrestleMania moment. We'll see what happens, man. But yeah, just kind of marinate on that for a little bit. I'll give WWE this much props, though, with regards to Bad Bunny tonight. And I was a little bit concerned here. I was concerned because Damian Priest was having his one-on-one match, which he won. He defeated Angel Garza. And boy, boy, I'm telling you, just the way Damian Priest so far has been able to adapt being on the main roster, he's fitting in good. He's fitting in good. I'm not really sure about being aligned with Bad Bunny. That's the only thing that I'm not really, of all the ways we could bring in Damian Priest to the main roster, this is essentially how we're gonna do it. It's different, I'll give you that, but eh, you know, yeah, I can't really shit on it too much. But I have been enjoying Damian Priest so far and what he's been doing. And if you missed it tonight, officially, it was declared that he is part of the Raw roster. So we're going to be seeing him on a more weekly basis. Yeah, a lot of people just, yeah, I agree with that. Who said that, actually? Let me look in the chat here. Because somebody's saying something very valid about Maine. We got to deal with this Bad Bunny crap for another couple of months. Shake him. Yeah. Yeah, we just got to deal with it. We can bitch all we want. We can bitch all we want about Bad Bunny. It ain't going to change nothing. It ain't going to change nothing. Because WWE, look, the only thing that WWE gives a damn about, them dollars. And Bad Bunny is selling fucking merch like a motherfucker on WWE Shop right now. So, if you want to really let your voices be heard and be like, we don't care for Bad Bunny, fuck Bad Bunny. All right, well, tell your friends and your family to stop buying Bad Bunny merchandise on WWE Shop. That's one. You can take a swig. That's one. Two, when you get a segment with Bad Bunny, change the fucking channel. Just change the fucking channel. That's how you can stick it to WWE. They're paying attention to those quarterly breakdowns. They're paying attention to those segments. They're going to do what they got to, but that's how you hurt them the most in order to let your voices be heard. Fans don't realize right now the true power that they have in their hands, which is their remote control. They just don't realize it. Right? You may not be in attendance at these WWE events right now, but that'll change in the future, without a doubt. Mark my words, before 2021 is up, I wouldn't be surprised if by summer we started to see, let's 10% attendance. Don't be surprised if by summer. Don't be surprised because, by summer, everybody and their mama, like right now, trying to get the COVID shots, it's like looking for a fucking PS5. I mean, you're on the fucking hunt. 1 minute you think you located that shot, and the next minute, up, it's gone. I mean, just like the fucking PS5. You're gonna have to wait until at least summer, maybe even midway through summer, before you can just walk into your local store. PS5, hot damn. Yeah, you're essentially gonna have to, like, same mentality before the shot, right? So yeah, mark my words. I think by summer, that's when fans are gonna be coming back into attendance and all that. But for now, you got the most powerful thing at your disposal, that remote control. They're looking at that. That social media engagement. I mean, they're paying attention to that. They are paying attention to all those clicks, the impressions, the share rate, retweet rate, where you're sharing that information. They're looking at all of those analytics, man. Age demographics, countries, states, genders, ages, racial backgrounds, economic they're looking at all of that shit, man. All of that shit. Not to get all overkill, but you guys feel where I'm coming from. Let's see. Anything else I want to talk about from Raw tonight? Just looking at some more stuff here. I missed the Jeff Hardy taking on Sheamus match. Old man Lee was napping during that point. So again, that's another one you guys will have to sound off on how that match was. Let other folks know how that match was. Naomi, Lana, Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose. I heard the entrance music, but I remember just still my old man nap getting my old man nap on, kind of coming out of it a little bit there. Apparently, I didn't miss that much. Naomi Lana winning. Apparently, the match was only barely 90 seconds long. Wow, is all I have to say. Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair having a heart-to-heart moment. Charlotte, by the way, can we go back to that Charlotte and Asuka match? So, Shayna and Nia winning. And you kind of saw the gears in motion there as you saw Charlotte a bit perturbed at Asuka. Left her hanging high and dry in the middle of the ring, too. I mean, those of you that had predicted about 2 months ago Charlotte, Asuka, WrestleMania for the title, I think y'all are going to get your wish. That seems to be the way things are going right now. And I was a little bit surprised that post-match we didn't get to see Asuka try to find Charlotte backstage to make sure that they were still good and everything. I was a little bit surprised at that, but it's okay for now. They really just wanted to home in on her talk with Ric Flair, and that was a nice backstage segment. I gotta say, that was actually pretty damn good. Essentially, Rick telling Charlotte, I'm not the father of Lacey's baby. I don't even know, who the father is, number one, but it's not me, but number two, I latched on to Lacey because I saw a lot of you in her. She's a great up and coming star. I just wanted to get behind her, and I felt that with my history, everything that I've learned, I felt that I could take her to that next level. And I like how Charlotte pretty much came right back and tried to call him on his bullshit. You have always liked a pretty blonde, let's be honest. And pretty much, I need you to go home. You say that you're all about helping the women's division. You say that you're all about elevating talents like a Lacey Evans, but you're not really doing any of those things from my perspective. Instead, what you're honestly doing is you're just all concerned about you and your brand and your name. It just kind of feels as though you're just out here trying to represent yourself. You still do not know all this time later how to stop being Ric Flair, how to hang it up for good. It was pretty much Charlotte's message, and her pretty much telling her dad, I'm not interested in being Ric Flair. I'm interested in being Charlotte Flair. You want to help. Please stay at home. I can't function the way I need to function. So it was a desperate plea. It was a cry for, you gotta let me be. Your time is up and my time is now. You can't see me. My time. It was kind of like one of those type of conversations. But now the question becomes, okay, does old man Rick listen? Does he listen? Or, I could just picture some of the dirt sheets now when they're seeing shit like this. Have we seen the last of Ric Flair? Ric Flair, AEW bound? I mean, I'm telling you guys, I can see that shit right now. That would just be fucking hilarious, I'm telling you. But, the first 90 minutes of Raw tonight, I would say, okay. But then afterwards, it just kind of went a little flatline there. Now, look, next week, that's going to be interesting. Miz, Lashley, WWE Championship. Remember what I said. No Drew McIntyre tonight. So those of you that are going, Lashley, look, I'm going to be rooting. I hope that we don't get Drew McIntyre. But what I would like to happen, and then your typical WWE logic, history seems to suggest that we're going to be getting Drew McIntyre crashing the scene when Lashley is that close to becoming the new WWE champion. Now, with regards to Fastlane. With regards to Fastlane. That's an interesting dilemma that you got there with regards to Fastlane. because obviously you're going to have this dynamic where Lashley was essentially screwed out of his opportunity. So what happens there? What do you do there? You just did an Elimination Chamber match. So is it possible that going in the fast lane, you do Miz defending the title against Lashley and Drew McIntyre in a triple threat match? I mean, me personally, I would be okay with that. I actually would be okay with that. And then somehow, if you maybe want to come out of that and somehow get to a WrestleMania where you could either go Drew, Lashley, or you could go Drew and Sheamus, okay, I'm down for that as well. But what are you doing? What are you gonna do there with Miz? Who is Miz's opponent gonna be for WrestleMania? You know, that's still your lingering. You feel where I'm coming from? So looking at the current landscape that you got right now, you know, who is that baby face gonna be that's gonna take on Miz at WrestleMania? Is it maybe gonna be Keith Lee? Do you have enough time to build up a Ricochet to take on Miz? Can you even at this point factor in Ricochet as a good worthy? You feel where I'm coming from? So do you maybe do that? They got plenty of time, but not much. I can't wait to see how they're gonna tell that story with regards to Miz, because I definitely can see Miz going into WrestleMania still your champ. By the way, Rhea Ripley coming soon. We've already begun to see the vignettes for Rhea Ripley coming to WWE Raw. Good, very good. Hell of a talent, hell of a fucking talent. She's been tearing it up down there in NXT. So I can't wait to see what that girl is going to be able to do. I'm patiently waiting for Killer Cross. I'm sorry, Karrion Kross. Bad habit. I can't wait to see Karrion Kross come up on the main roster. I mean, that's a talent right there. God, I'm looking forward to that. I can't believe I almost forgot about the Randy Orton spitting up black licorice. So I guess we're getting closer to, what's going on there? I mean, it almost kind of feels like Nightmare on Elm Street, part 1, where, essentially you had the guy there and he's spitting up stuff, and it turns out Freddy Krueger was living inside of him, basically. Okay, so is that what's going on with Randy Orton? Does Randy Orton maybe have fucking Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, living inside of him that's just waiting to come out there? Like what the hell? That was weird what we saw there tonight with Randy Orton. Very weird. Kind of funny too, I gotta be honest with you. It was actually kind of funny too. That was an interesting dynamic though that they did tonight there with Randy Orton coughing up that black licorice. Hey, get into a couple of shout outs here from our Patreon familia, patreon.com/RCWR show. Remember, you check out bonus audio video content you won't be able to find anywhere else on our Patreon channel. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Shout out to Anthony DeBlasi. Shout out to JD Davis. Shout out to Freddie. Shout out to Gino Morgan, Justin Ripstock, Michael Wolf. Shout out to Tony Bean Gaming. Want the latest in all things Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Marvel's Avengers, tips, tricks, news, walkthroughs, and reviews. Tony Bean Gaming. Holla at your man. He's got the hookup. Great YouTube channel and all. Check him out. He's got a Patreon paywall as well. Shout out to our sponsors as well. Shout out to the good kind people over at Wishful Walking Videos. Check them out on YouTube. Oh, man. Great videos, man. Shot in 4K UHD quality. Great surround sound. They're traveling around various parts in beautiful California, hitting up all the beaches, forests. I mean, great little spots that they're hitting up. Check them out. They're on YouTube. Great content. They're uploading new stuff daily. Good shit, man. Good shit. So not really too much has gone down since last I was on the air with you guys, because it was pretty much less than 24 hours ago that I was on the air with you guys. And it's funny that we're right back here, because I think it was Gino. Gino had asked a question. Shout out to Gino. He had asked a question. I think it was last Monday's show about what episodes I would like to see get covered on Dark Side of the Ring. And I think the way I answered that was, well, do you mean, this season or just down the road? Because this season is pretty much in the books as far as the episodes that they're going to do and everything. Well, we got some additional information with regards to Dark Side. It's a two-parter. So there's going to be a Dark Side of the Ring special titled Confidential. Dark Side of the Ring, Confidential. It's going to be premiering on March 9th. And this particular show is going to do an overview of the past and future episodes of the series. Conrad Thompson is going to be interviewing the series creators Evan Hunsley and Jason Eisner as well. And they filmed the interview. Check this out. They filmed it at the old ECW arena last year. And according to PW Insider, the Dynamite Kid is also set to get a focus in a episode next season. They interviewed Dynamite Kid's first wife, Michelle, and his children, along with Julie Hart, his former sister-in-law. I do love me some Julie Hart. Of all the interviews that I've done over the years, I've done many. One of my most intimate and favorite ones to date has to be the one that I did with Julie Hart. And it's funny, once in a while, looking at some new comments that come in, and people will be like, they'll try to take their little jabs at the interview. There sure is a lot of ums and ahs, and when you're a podcast beginner, or you're embarking on a radio career, you learn this early on, the do's and don't. And one of them is, you don't keep spamming the airwaves with ums and ahs and all of that shit. And this interview was conducted, that I did with her, it was conducted, I think, around 2013. So at that point, I had only been doing my podcasting career, been doing shows and all that for like 2 years, basically. But it was a really great conversation. My girl actually tag teamed with me for that conversation. And we were talking about her book, Heartstrings. She was just going over everything. She left no stone unturned about what it was like being married to Bret Hart. And me and Tammy, we did our research on that one. I mean, I was the main one that read the book, but I basically was just bouncing off of her in preparation for the interview and everything. And as far as just loosest interviews I've ever conducted, where I didn't even need to write any bullet points down or whatever, I could just, hey, I read the book, I've already done my research, I know everything I need to know, everything's just up here. It's conversation. And that's exactly what we had. It was a very candid conversation. I've actually checked in on Julie Hart off and on over the years, seeing how she's been and everything. So I told her once the interview was over, I said, look, let's definitely stay in touch. Anything can do to help, promote something for you, or just shoot the shit. And usually every year, I reach out to her, find out how she's doing and everything. Who knows? I'm not saying maybe, but who knows? Maybe we might see if we could eventually get her on the show again and see how she's been. But to Gino's point, here's some of the episodes that is going to be going down for season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring. You ready? Brian Pillman, XPW. Now, you know what? I'm very curious. I don't know if DT would actually say this online, but I'm very curious. With XPW getting its own episode, I wonder if they interviewed him. Because see, if they did interview him, then the first question would be, okay, can he reveal that? Or he can't really say anything until it gets closer? Because sometimes you sign those contracts and there is a little quiet gag there. You can only start talking about your involvement with a particular project or whatever, once the date's been announced, and pretty much these are the people that's going to be featured on this episode. Over the years, I've had to sign off on some shit where some folks were interested in using some of my audio or using something from my site or whatever, and I had to, okay, what's the 401? What's the dirt? Give me, so that's how I kind of learned the inner workings there. But XPW, WCW New Japan event in North Korea. The Smith family, Grizzly Smith and his children, Jake Roberts, Sam Houston, and Rockin' Robin. Nick Gage, FMW in Japan. Ooh, that should be a damn good one. Bruiser Bedlam, Chris Kanyon, and again, Dynamite Kid. So that should be pretty good. If you ask me off the break, the ones I'm looking forward to the most, my answer might surprise some of you guys. I'm actually looking forward to Dynamite Kid. I have a documentary DVD on Dynamite Kid, and I have a DVD that's about maybe 10 hours of Dynamite Kid matches. I'm a big Dynamite Kid fan. Big Dynamite Kid. I love that fucking dude. Big time. So that episode I'm looking forward to checking out the most, just seeing, okay, tell me something I don't know. Seeing what I can learn from the Dark Side guys. So that episode I'm looking forward to. Also looking forward to Chris Kanyon. Chris Kanyon is essentially someone that, sadly most people don't really know his story like that. So he's definitely one I'm really looking forward to. There's a guy that had a lot of potential. A lot of great potential. And I'm just looking at the list one more time, trying to see if there's any. FMW in Japan, only because I came across the story recently. And I was like, why does that sound familiar? And then once I heard the story, it was, oh, yeah, I remember. So I actually would love to see how the Dark Side guys are able to tackle that one. But shout out to Gino, because he asked a really good question about, what's some episodes I would like to see get tackled. I would be remiss if I didn't include Sean O'Hare. Loved Sean O'Hare. God, that guy, oh my God, that guy's look, his whole fucking gimmick, everything about that dude was just fucking money. And man, that was such a tragedy. Such a tragedy with Sean O'Hare. To this day, I still remember the interview that I had with Chuck Palumbo, and I think one of the main reasons why I wanted to get with him and do the interview, I wanted to talk to him about his time teaming with Sean O'Hare. And it was a nice little back and forth that we had there, talking about him and everything. But Sean O'Hare, I think they would do a phenomenal job with Sean O'Hare. But yeah, that's some of the episodes that they're going to be doing for Dark Side of the Ring. So check that out. Now, I did watch the Stone Cold Steve Austin Broken Skull sessions with Sasha Banks. I'm not going to give you guys a full rundown By the way, I am keeping track of time. We've been doing our thing for about almost an hour, 5 minutes. I'm willing to go, almost another 10 minutes. But this ain't going to be nowhere near 90 minutes. So I'm good with about an hour, 15. So I'm not going to be long-winded with Sasha Banks. If you want to know straight up, should you go out of your way and watch it? Yes. Short story. Yes. Go out of your way and watch it. I'll let you know this. I did not plan on watching this initially. But I found myself having a little bit of time on my hands between classes. And it was, okay, well, you know what? I got a little bit of time to kill. Let me see what's going on with this. And I walked away feeling more appreciative of Sasha Banks. I felt more of a human connection with Sasha Banks. And that can be very tricky because you've heard so many fucked up stories involving Sasha Banks over the years and how she doesn't like fans and all this other shit. But she came out of this a very likable person. Here is a woman that all she ate, slept, breathed was pro wrestling. All she knew she wanted to do was not only pro wrestling, but be in the WWE. She did not have a plan B. Never even thought of a plan B. Right down to the point when she got hired by WWE, she was working 3 jobs. 3 jobs at the time she was working, and Steve Austin asked her, okay, well, let's say you didn't sign with WWE. What was going to be your plan B? Because you at that point were already working 2 years on the independent scene. I believe it was for Chaos Wrestling Promotion. What were your plans going to be if, and Sasha pretty much said, I just felt, I knew that WWE was going to hire me. I never even thought about what plan B was going to be. So it was like, wow. I mean, just crazy when you hear that. Very, very crazy. But, here's a young Sasha Banks, has a brother, when she's growing up, has a brother that is dealing with autism. And, her brother, her mom, they're all living in this hotel. And they're living in this hotel for over 2.5 years. And at one point, it gets, and it almost kind of reminded me a little bit of Jose Feliciano a little bit, because you remember how during his teenage years, in order to support his family, Jose Feliciano made the ultimate sacrifice, and because his dad was the breadwinner of the family, and he was no longer able to bring in the money. So Jose Feliciano made the ultimate sacrifice, and he quit going to school in order to support his family with his music. You don't know anything about Jose Feliciano, look him up when you get a chance. But Sasha Banks, essentially following a very similar path of Jose Feliciano, where she encourages her mom, look, Mom, you go ahead and you find work, I'm sure you'd be able to find, some type of job out there. I will stay with my brother. And so, she makes that sacrifice while at the same time, taking up hybrid learning. So way before this whole pandemic shit, here she was when she was growing up, when you kind of heard that there was hybrid learning going, but it wasn't as popular like it is now. It's like, wow, just the fact that she was living in the hotel. And I mean, that resonated with me. You guys have no idea, but that really, really resonated for me. It hit really close to home. Like I said, I found myself really liking Mercedes. That's who I saw during that Broken Skulls session. I didn't see, even though it had the hair color, that wasn't Sasha Banks I was listening to. That was Mercedes. I was listening to the woman behind the Sasha Banks character. And it made me respect this woman a lot more. Um, it made me appreciate her humble beginnings, her struggles and everything to get to where she is now. Um, so of course you got the whole thing about Ronda Rousey. Boy, that's like several minutes. I can get into that Wednesday. We can kind of do a little cliffhanger like that. But I would say go out of your way, check it out when you guys get a chance. 90 minutes tops. You won't be disappointed. And shout out to Steve Austin. Steve Austin, for him to do one interview with Bayley, and then he follows it up with Sasha. I mean, that's just a great 1-2 punch right there. So to see Steve Austin, okay, let's give the women some love here. And you can genuinely feel Steve Austin's love, respect, and appreciation for the women's division. He's really a fan of women's wrestling. It's really nice seeing him embrace it. It really is. And the respect that he has for Sasha. I won't put any spoilers out there, but the respect that he has for Sasha, that was also something that kind of, he's really starting to come into his own here when it comes to these interviews that he's doing this go around with Broken Skull Sessions. I mean, he's putting out some really good candid shit with a lot of these folks that he's been interviewing so far. So he's finding his groove. I definitely got to give him that. He's finding his fucking groove. Let's see. Also, I see Cam Newton made the news. All right, so let's set this up properly for you guys. Cam Newton, he's got this little youth training camp thing that he does pretty much every off season or whatever. And by now you guys probably know, but there's a kid that went viral because he was heckling Cam, basically calling him a bum, saying, he's broke, he's poor, he's gonna play himself into the poorhouse and all of this shit. Cam seems like he's being a bit juvenile himself and being playful and going back and forth with the kid and everything, asking him, where's your dad? No, I'm rich. What are you talking about? I'm rich. Where's your dad? And of course, you got so many people that looked at this and they're under the impression, oh, Cam got totally disrespected there by that kid. What the hell there? Where was that kid's dad? It was so disrespectful, the way that kid came at Cam. What the hell's going on? Now, Cam, he actually did sound off, and I actually want to pull up his comments here. He actually did sound off about that. Now, first off, the high school football player had apologized for the spat with Cam Newton. The kid did apologize. The young player, and I'll actually protect his name, but he goes to a high school in Pennsylvania. He offered an apology, and he said, and I quote, "As a football player, I let my competitive side get the best of me." He wrote this on Twitter. "I realize this can dictate my future as a young man, having very big dreams, goals, but I will not allow this to stop me from getting where I need to be." Now, let me read to you guys what he said at the beginning of that, because that's the most important. I don't want to take anything out of context here. And he wrote this not too long ago. He actually wrote this within the last hour. So this is as real time as it's going to get. "First and foremost, I want to express my deepest apologies to Cam Newton, my entire organization, and my coaches for my actions at the 7-on-7 tournament this past weekend. I did not intend for it to get as far as it did. First, I would like to start off by saying my parents never taught me people... Wait a minute. Clean that up, brother. First, I would like to start off by saying my parents never taught me to people disrespectful. I think what he was trying to say there. First, I would like to start off by saying my parents never taught me to treat people disrespectfully. Let's clean that up for him. As a football player, I let my competitive side get the best of me, and it was a huge miscommunication. It was in the midst of the moment, and I realize now how oh man, proofread this, brother, before you hit send. As a football player, I let my competitive side get the best of me, and it was a huge miscommunication. It was in the midst of the moment, and I realize now how a lot of you took it as disrespect. I never meant to humiliate and let anyone down. I'm very appreciative for the 7 versus 7 to allow me to be a part of the community and allowing me to be part of the team I am currently on. I realize this can dictate, and I pretty much read you that part. Let's skip a little bit. So again, I apologize and hope I can be forgiven. So that's from that kid. Now Cam Newton, he also had released a statement about the heckling there, and let me see if I can actually find that for you guys here. Cam Newton, I'm trying to see if I can find that for you real quick here. See, I had just saw it earlier. I had it ready to go too. Let me just try this. And if I can't find it, then that's okay. There we go. All right. So Cam said the following. He said this on Sunday. He said, "Ain't no disrespect. If you want some attention, I'm going to give you some attention. The right way, bro." And see what else here. Hang on here. See if there's anything else here. So, I mean, not really that much that's out there. You know, if you ask me my 2 cents from a distance, you know, how I felt when I had saw it. Mixed. That's the best way I can sum it up. I felt mixed because, long story short, it's like on the one hand, I'm looking at a guy like Cam Newton, and yeah, you know what? All the things that this man was able to accomplish, and okay, he had a bum season with the Patriots. Not for nothing, but Cam essentially got a taste of what fucking Tom Brady was dealing with during his final year in New England, and for what he was able to do, I was very surprised. I mean, it was very limited what he had in the fridge there in New England and what he essentially was able to do with that. I mean, it was basically like Tom Brady opening up a refrigerator. What to eat? And all he had was an avocado, pack of ramen noodles, and flour. A bag of flour. And he made some yummy ass dishes off of that. Cam Newton pretty much had to go in with the same fucking ingredients that Tom Brady had in the fridge, and was like, okay, see what you could do. Make a fucking masterpiece. And Cam tried to do his very best, and you know, as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't let one season be the defining moment of one's entire professional athletic career. I think that would just be totally unfair to do. And, you know, it just kind of took me back when I saw this kid heckling Cam. You know, on the one hand, being somebody that was very active in sports, played a lot of football, especially. I play mostly halfback. You know, you're used to the trash talking and all that other stuff that's going on. You're used to that. Mama jokes, all kind. You're used to that shit. But for me, that just kind of felt slightly out of bounds because, you know, here's this guy doing this youth camp. You know, he's pretty much organized this on his time, on his dime, and it's like, you know, teach its own, but nah, I couldn't do that. That would be like essentially dissing one of your professors or whatever. Yeah, no. No, I just didn't like that. So hearing this kid make the statement that he made, this was his opportunity to really set the record. And he did, because you had some people that felt he was being playful, and then you had other people that felt he was being totally disrespectful. And if this was a case where he meant no harm, he was just being playful with Cam, this was just regular banter that two of them always have with one another, nothing to see, folks, keep it moving along, then that's what would have definitely came out of Cam Newton's camp. And that definitely is what would have came out from the kids' camp. But the fact that, it didn't, and what the kid had put out there just now within the hour, that pretty much lets you know he wasn't thinking before he opened his mouth. He'll learn from this. He'll learn from this. He'll bounce back. It's a very teachable moment, but I just hope he didn't make this apology because he was getting heckled on social media, harassed. Because you know how it is nowadays. Social media can be very toxic. It's something that I've been talking about for many, many years now. Hopefully, this apology did not come from a place of, well, I pretty much got heckled all day, all weekend, and I'm getting these threats, blah this, blah that, and yeah, I had to say this just to try to stay face. Hopefully this is legit coming from a place of sincerity, and he's had time to really stop and think about these things. And okay, yeah, you know what, that kind of was, because I'm not saying Cam Newton is Michael Jordan, but could you imagine Michael Jordan doing a youth camp and somebody talking trash to Michael Jordan over the last time he came out of retirement and he was playing for the Wizards, calling him a bum and all this other shit, and then saying, you know what, you might be one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but you're one of the shittiest owners of all time. Could you imagine somebody doing that type of trash talking at a little youth camp that Jordan has put together? I mean, that probably would not really fly, would it? I mean, that kid would probably, yeah, you can forget about that. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. One last thing we can get into before we get ready to wrap it up here. I'm keeping track of time, so we're actually doing pretty good. It looks like when it's all said and done, we're staying away from an hour 30, so I'm okay with that. But I got just enough juice to talk about this one last thing, and that's pretty much it. And it's actually real brief. Oh, you know what? By the way, I didn't get a chance to show you guys this. Can I just show you guys this real quick? You're gonna love this. This is badass. I meant to show you guys this. Take a look at this while I was just talking about football. Let me hide the chat box for a minute here. I want to show you guys something here. Where is the restream box here? All right, let's hide the chat. And feature, nope, that ain't it. Here it is. Feast your eyes on that bad boy. So for those of you that's going to be listening to the audio, because you're not going to be able to see. So for Valentine's Day, I got my girl nice card. I kept asking her, I was like, you want some candy this year? You want some candy? You want some nice gourmet candy? She was like, nah, I'm good on the candy this year, but thanks. I'm like, you sure? She's like, yeah. So I got her a nice card. I got her some nice balloons, made her a nice little dinner, dinner for two and everything. And she surprised the hell out of me. She got me this signed, it's legit. She got me this signed football by Brett Favre. And she knows how much I love Brett Favre. Big fan of his. And I was like, damn, I only talked about this for like 5 minutes. I'm like, you remember? She's like, yeah. And I thought she was going to be hooking me up with a college sweater. A little sweater with the college name on it, from the official store. I thought maybe she was getting ready to hook me up with something like that, but she comes to the studio, pulls out this pink looking big old bag with a bunch of hearts on it and everything. And she goes, Happy Valentine's Day. And she's like, close your eyes. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so you stick out your hands. I stick out my hands, and I feel this heavy thing in my hands. And she's like, okay, go ahead. And I'm looking, and it's the bag. I opened up the bag, and the football was in the case, just like that. It was really badass, really badass. Loved it. Good shit, man. It was good shit. Now I got to figure out a place to put it. Right now it's in the studio. It's actually under this desk. Where I have all the equipment set up and everything. So, I meant to share that. I kept forgetting, but, I have been enjoying the hell out of this, final season of Black Lightning. I'm sad that it's coming to an end. I really wish that the show would continue to go forward. I'm hoping that maybe there will be a future for Black Lightning, whenever DC Comics launches their little app or whatever. Because last I heard, I thought they were supposed to be getting ready to do something there. Or maybe they're going to do something with HBO Max. I mean, there's always a possibility there too. Maybe they could do something over there. But then again, we got to see how this final season is going to play out. Is Jefferson Pierce maybe going to die? What exactly is going to happen there? Is he going to be put in a position where he's going to have to stop being Black Lightning forever because, he's going to risk death? Or, how is it going to play out? Is Tobias finally going to meet his demise? And if so, is Jefferson going to be responsible for it? Or is it going to be somebody else? Is it maybe going to be Lala? Is Lala finally going to extract revenge? Or it's been really good storytelling that they've been doing so far with Black Lightning, this final season. I love the purgatory status that Jefferson Pierce is finding himself in, the turmoil, the conflict that he has, with losing his best friend from last season, and pretty much using that as guilt over his head for why he's not going to put on the suit again. But we're seeing the ramifications of that, and it's been good storytelling. So there's a lot of people that are complaining, he needs to be in a suit already. This is fucking boring. But no, it's really good storytelling. It's almost kind of essentially getting back to the basics of what they were doing in the first season, so to speak. When you really kind of take a step back, and you think about it. So, and that Painkiller series, it's coming together. We're already being promised that the Pierce sisters, they're definitely going to be involved in the Painkiller series. So whatever happens during this final season of Black Lightning, hopefully we'll get some pretty little loose ends that'll get tied up on his respected series and all that. But I gotta tell you, I'm looking forward to the Painkiller series. I think they did a phenomenal job on Black Lightning telling Khalil's story and the transition of him getting into Painkiller status and everything. And I have a feeling that Gravedigger may cross over to Painkiller. I can't remember Wayne Brady's character that he plays on Black Lightning. I can't remember the name right now. But I definitely would love to see him tear it up a couple of times with Painkiller as well. Great fucking chemistry there. I actually I'll show it to you guys when it comes, but I actually found myself a DC Direct statue. I think it's about somewhere between 12-15 inches tall of Black Lightning. And I said to myself, you know what? It's like, this is the final season. Stuff like this is going to be kind of more scarce to find. Bad enough they only had made a limited edition number of these things. And so I actually was able to get one. Normally, it goes for like $150. And I actually was on eBay. and I had found a really good seller that was selling his new in the box. Box had a little bit of damage, but it was new in the box. He never took it out. I was able to talk him down from, he considered the fact that the box was damaged. And so he started at basically $100 free shipping. So he already knocked off $50. So I came right in. I'm like, look, I'll give you $50 for it. He shot that down. He's like, so I came at him. I'm like, okay, 70. So he actually took the $70. So I'll show it to you guys when it gets here. We'll definitely do a nice little unveiling for that. So peep that out in the coming weeks. All right, that's going to be some good shit though. I'll have a lot more to say about Black Lightning as the weeks progress further and further. So for those of you that want me to comment a little bit more, I'll definitely comment a little bit more. It's a great time to be a comic book fan. I found myself reading the new Thor series. And I'm also reading from Image Comics crossovers. Something else that I just started that I will be reading in the coming days. I just picked up the first 4 issues of is it called Future Shock? The new Batman? I'm just going to call it the new Batman, but apparently there's a black Batman that's running around. I was very intrigued by that, and when I read the synopsis, I said, okay, we're getting a step closer to my idea I've been sitting on for about 20 years now of a black Superman. I ain't talking about Steel, and we already done that, but no, I have this really, if I say it out loud, like somebody's gonna like, no, my idea is so fucking on point. The people that I have spoken to that, I can tell them something and it stays with them and it dies with them. They pretty much told me, you need to get in contact with DC Comics and you need to lay that on them. They love the idea. But I've been waiting 20 years. Obviously it's a culture thing and, right time, right place and everything. But now that we've got a black Batman, I feel that now more than ever, okay, black Superman. Okay. But what's the story we're going to tell with this black Superman? That's aha. But yeah, color me curious. So I'll let you guys know how that fares when I get an opportunity to read that. But yeah, Black Batman. I won't spoil it for you guys. If you're curious, and I know some of you guys are going to be, definitely go out of your way and check it out. They're only on their 4th issue right now, so you guys are good. All right, so I have fought my melatonin as long as I could. I didn't want to cheat you guys too much, but I gave you guys pretty much 90 minutes, even though I said I wanted to do like an hour 15. So hopefully you guys appreciate this. I'll be back Wednesday night. I'm pretty much going to be free from work after Tuesday night. I won't be going back to work until Saturday afternoon. So in between, I just got classes and I'll be able to do some more shows for you guys. So Wednesday night, I'm going to give you guys a new one. We'll cover AEW, NXT Fallout, mix in a little bit of MLW as well. And we definitely got a new Impact Showdown I'll be dropping for you guys as well. So a lot of good content that's still going to be coming your way. Patreon members, you guys just got some new content that was uploaded earlier this morning. I'm going to hit you guys with some more content Tuesday night. So be on the lookout for that. Remember, patreon.com/RCWR show. $5 a month. Sign up. Check out bonus exclusive content you won't be able to find anywhere else. Meantime, be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads wherever you get your podcasts. For those of you that were tuning in live, appreciate you guys that stayed up, checked out the show. Much love as always. Please, as you make your exit, you enjoyed the show, smash the like. Lets the YouTube team know you enjoyed the content. Helps them out as far as recommendations go and everything. Definitely means a lot. All right. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR show. You're waiting for the audio version of this. It'll be available for your downloading pleasure Tuesday night. Until next go round, wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Y'all do take care.